Hey folks, it's Owen here again with another battle report from the last Chancellors over in Wicklow. Just before I get into this one, I'm going to just take a quick minute to say thanks to everyone for watching and commenting and subscribing, because I just got over my first 100 subscribers, which is a brilliant milestone and something that I really didn't expect to get for a long time. I didn't know how well this was going to go, and I didn't know if I was going to like it, but I'm having a great time doing it, and long may it last. So thanks for everyone for doing that. So let's get on with this. This is a battle report from last Thursday, and it's 2,500 points. So we're playing a battle line. It's my High Elves against actually my Warriors of Chaos. We have a, well, I wouldn't say new, but a new Warhammer Fantasy Battle player in Ross, who's moved over from 40k after the last tournament he was at, because he wasn't really in the humour of playing 40k anymore. So no better way to get into fantasy by playing the dirtiest boys in the lot, which is the Warriors. We rolled up battle line, which is nice for him, nice easy start, and it's 2,500 points. So here's the spells. I thought we just throw them down. He took Tzeentch, which I think is a pretty cool lore. I think most of the lores for the Warriors are pretty cool anyway. Got himself Treason, which is a great spell. Firestorm, which is not too bad. And Gateway, which is obviously brilliant. And then he just took the signature spell Blue Fire, just to throw a couple of cheap dice at stuff. And then moving on to my spells, I got my usual Lore Master, who has all the signatures, and then I got myself Fiery Convocation, Walk Between Worlds, Hand of Glory, and Soul Quench, and they're usually my 4 favourite spells, so I got lucky here. Okay, and on to the High Elf setup. So on the left hand side we have 5 Reavers with Musician and Bows. Just beside them we got 15 Archers, 20 Swords Masters with full command just there underneath, and they've got the Lore Master in their ranks, who has a Dragon Helm, Spell Scroll, and the Golden Crown, which will give him a 4+ ward save for 1 hit, or sorry, 1 wound. 15 Archers there just in front of a Frost Phoenix. And then moving over here, we have 20 Spearmen with standard discipline. We have Noble, who's in there as well. He's their BSB. He has a Reaver Bow and the Shield of Murworm for his 4+ parry ward, which I don't think he's ever actually used. But my General is there as well, who's a level 4 mage. He's on high magic with his big Book of Oath and his Talisman of Preservation. Beside him then I've the 20 Phoenix Guard with full command, and they have the Razor standard on them too. 2 Bolt Throwers sitting there pretty on the hill, and 5 more Reavers on the right hand side. Both of those Reaver units have already Vanguarded up as well. And we're facing the Warriors of Chaos. Oh god, the Warriors of Chaos. So on the left hand side we have 2 units of Warhounds, and Ross has tricked them out with everything. So they have Poison Attacks, Vanguard, Scaly Skin. I think he just had a few extra points left over and just wanted to throw it out. Behind them then is a Chaos Spawn, which I don't usually see a lot, but Ross painted one over the past week, so he wanted to include it. Give it a Marcus Slanesh, which is pretty interesting. Oh, it was either Tzeentch or Slanesh, whichever one gives him the breath weapon. I think maybe that's Tzeentch. Anyway, behind him are 18 Warriors of Chaos, who've also got the Marcus Tzeentch, and they've got a full command, so they're going to be a tough nut to crack. He's kept them back a little bit, so I couldn't shoot him in the first turn. He's pretty sure I'm going to get that. And beside them he's got 10 Chaos Warriors. They have Marcus Tzeentch as well, full command and a Banner of Swiftness, so they'll be pelting straight at me as quick as possible. In there they have the Exalted Hero, who is Mr. Unkillable. He is on a Demonic Steed, which I forgot to say here, so he's toughness 5, 3 wounds. He's a Battle Standard Bearer. He has got a shield, Talisman of Preservation, and a third eye, so he is going to kick my ass when he gets into combat. And beside them then is a Hell Cannon. Just moving over a bit there, the Skull Crusher's a corner right in the middle. Ross decided to give him Lances because he thought maybe he was going to be facing Banner of the World Dragon, which he isn't. But I think Lances are a nice choice because it gives him +2 in the charge, and usually they will kill anything when they get through them anyway. And they've got the Banner of Eternal Flame just to give me a good chopping. Then he has a General right behind them who's on a Disc of Tzeentch. He's got level 4 Lower Tzeentch, Preservation Talisman, so 4+ ward. Moving down to a 3+ because he's Tzeentch, and he has a Dispel Scroll. Beside them is then the Gorby's Chariot with Mark and Nurgle, tough yoke, and then beside that is the Chaos Chariot, which is just as tough with another Mark and Nurgle. And then on the right hand side of them is 5 more Knights with Marks and Nurgle and Lances as well. So moving on to the first turn, and for High Elves, of course, we don't do too much in the first turn because we know the Warriors are going to be coming straight for us. So I just march my guys into the building. I know they won't be able to shoot this turn, but they should be able to get something off next turn. And that's pretty much it there. And then I just moved the Phoenix Guard up a small bit. No point moving the Phoenix around, just leave him where he is so he can maybe move around later on. And then everything else stays where it is. So on to the high elf magic phase, which resulted in me getting double 1. I did channel, which meant I had 3 dice up to Ross's 1, but double 1 means my Phoenix is on a 6 ward save, so if he shoots him at that hell cannon, I'm toast. Anyway, 1 fireball gets off here by the Lore Master through 2 dice at it, and Ross tried to dispel, couldn't dispel, so I only ended up killing 1 hound, but never mind. However, when I have 1 dice left, I'm always guaranteed to cast a spell, usually when I've got the Book of Oath, and that's what I did. So Hand of Glory goes off on these archers, and they have +3 to their ballistic skill, so they should be hitting something nice. And the +3 ballistic skill was very nice, because we got rid of those Warhounds, and caused the other Warhounds to panic. So off they went, and there's a small little problem dealt with. Lots more problems to go, though. High elf shooting then, and it was also pretty successful. The Reaver Bow took 2 wounds off this guy. Ross was very unlucky to roll himself a double 1, so we just needed to get 1 more wound. That came in the shape from the Bolt Thrower, so another wound gone, Skull Crusher down. Things aren't looking too bad for us actually at the first turn. But onto the Warrior Chaos, turn 1, and this is where they go forward fast, very very fast. So Spawn runs 2d6 forward. Warriors go forward as fast as they can, and so too do the Cavalry, as to the Crushers. And I thought it'd be a good idea if Ross placed his guy here, so I wouldn't be able to shoot him. Well, if I did, it would be -2 ballistic skill because, or -2 to hit because of the wood coverage. Plus, he'll still have a nice arc to cast some spells. This game was made just to show Ross kind of arcs and movement and where he should be going. It wasn't really for anybody to win, so it was more game for him to enjoy himself and for me as well, obviously. Movement then, and Gore Beast, Chariot, regular Chariot, and Knights all go straight up. So there was not much in the magic for the Warriors, so Kerblamo goes the Hell Cannon and he absolutely mills out my unit. That's not good, because my mage, my BSB are now stuck where they are. I don't really want them moving anywhere else, so I'm going to keep them there for a while, but that's one hell of a shot from the Hell Cannon. High Elf turn 2, so I get my Reavers and move them across here so they can block a charge. Now I haven't positioned them very well here because he could conceivably turn or pivot and go into my mage's unit, but that's why I pulled them back a little bit. I think the charge is a 12. If I'm correct, I think it was a 12. So the juicier target is the Reavers, and maybe if he wants to go with them, he can overrun into the Sword Masters. But we'll see how that goes anyway. Sword Masters move up a small bit then, just to help out the Reavers a little bit. And that's it on this side. And then over here, the Frost Phoenix charges into the 2 remaining guys. I was kind of interested to see what would happen. Plus, I wanted a bit of combat to start going as soon as possible for Ross, so we can start rolling some dice and having some fun. Because rolling dice and killing stuff is where the fun is, really. So in goes the Frost Phoenix. Reavers moved across again just to cause them more of annoyance, and the Phoenix Guard have just turned around just in case those knights come anywhere near anybody on my side. So spells, once again I had a bit of a mare. I rolled a double 1 again, which means my Frost Phoenix is now still on a war save of 6+. Didn't get any extra strength or attacks, so he's going to be in a bit of trouble. Meanwhile, I channeled again, so I have 3 dice. So I got through a Soul Quench on the Knights, which did absolutely nothing because of their armor save, and he also has a 6+ ward save, so he made all the saves. Hand of Glory does go off though, so we get +2 ballistic skill for my guys, and I should be able to shoot something with those. But I shot nothing whatsoever. So onto the close combat phase, and Frost Phoenix goes in, waves his wings, and does pretty much nothing to these guys. In return, he gets chopped twice. So he loses by, let me see, I think he loses by 2. Rolls the dice, and he gets shredded to pieces. So the Skull Crushers follow through overrun, and they overrun so far that they go into contact with the Phoenix Guard in the side. Oh dear, that's not great. So we've got a small bit of trouble coming up to us. So Warriors of Chaos turn 2, and the Warriors just do the same thing again. Straightforward for the Warriors up there. The Knights do charge my my Reavers, and instead of trying to restrain and move off to somebody else, he elects to try and catch him, which he doesn't do, thank Christ, which means I would have been in loads of trouble. So Reavers go straight to my guys, who fail their first panic check, but re-roll with the BSB in close proximity, and then they pass, luckily enough. Gorbeast also charges my Reavers, which I didn't think he would do. So they run off, he doesn't catch him, takes a dangerous terrain, and he passes, no problems there. And then the other two units just move over. So this is after the combat with the Skull Crushers. I lose 3 guys. They don't do too badly, actually, only losing 3. I thought it would have been worse than that. We were steadfast and we held, so we reformed and we went 5 wide, so we can get a couple more attacks than these guys. Hopefully nothing else will come into the side of us and we can get some hits on these guys, but their armour is just so deep and so tough. So turn 3 for High Elves, and Reavers rally, so they go back around over here to where they were. Now I think I mispositioned these guys. I think that he might have been able, actually no, he wouldn't have been able, because the guy on the end there, the BSB, yeah, they wouldn't have been able to turn over and go around to anybody else. So I'm just going to make sure I lose these guys, get myself maybe another turn where I can either shoot or I can charge in myself. So cheerio Reavers. And on this side, I probably should have done the same thing. Actually, Matt, who was watching, pointed out you should have done the same thing with these Reavers and put them right in front of those Chaos Warriors to send them off over onto the right hand side, rather than trying to entice the chariot over there, because those Warriors are going to probably mince up a few of my other guys over there, the Bolt Throwers. So High Elf Magic Phase, and desperate times like this call for desperate measures, which means it's time to send out a big spell and a miscast, and that's exactly what I got. So a full speed Seer and Doom went straight into these lads, one of the only things that I think I have that's going to kill any of these guys, so I nailed them. And I did a pretty decent job getting rid of 6 of them. Unfortunately we only rolled a small number, I think I rolled a couple of 1s as well, Jesus. But anyway, 6 knights are gone, so that makes it a little bit more manageable. For the miscast, I got an 8. Not bad, you know, even though my 4+ fancy crown didn't exactly save me here. But my archmage didn't take a wound, so I mean, it's probably as good as I can get. And my shooting actually kills a Chaos Warrior. I'm shocked, I can't believe it. These guys have been unbelievable. They've weathered every single shot I poured into them. They're tough as nails, they're brilliant. And Bolt Thrower takes out a Chaos Knight over on this side, but not enough to get a panic chest, and not enough to really do any damage to this unit, who's going to come in and batter me now. Combat phase now. So we forgot that he has a hero here, so he has to challenge. So he challenges me. I say, well, why not? I'll take it. I might take a couple of hits off my unit, and he ends up only getting 1 hit and 1 kill on my champion, which isn't too bad considering. The other guy though makes up for it and slaughters another couple. So I lose by 4. I don't actually do any wounds at all, and only for steadfast we wouldn't be looking too good. So Warriors of Chaos turn 3, and more charges for these Warriors of Chaos. Oh, I really miss playing these Warriors, just throwing these units around, minning people out of it. But anyway, so we've got the chariot on the right hand side, charges into my Reavers who flee. Unfortunately the Reavers roll something like a 3 or a 4, and he rolls a double 6, so he runs them down and takes them out. Good luck. Over there on the bottom we have the other knights who went straight into the Bolt Thrower, so those guys are fucked. But I'm not too sure he has the angle here to go into the other guys. I'm not sure why we didn't sort that out, but we just kind of let it go and then forgot about it, to be honest. Over here the same thing happens. The knights go into the Reavers, so another unit of Reavers is toast, but that's okay, good luck. And the Chaos Warriors charge the building, so those little lads are in trouble as well. And there we go. Knights crucify those boys, and they turn around and get ready to go into the other Bolt Thrower. So more combat for the Warriors of Chaos, and this time the Phoenix Guard do a good job. They get 3 wounds on this guy, get rid of him, for only 2 wounds in return, which means that we win the combat, would you believe. His banner guy is dead. We got 2 wounds, we got rank and a banner, so we take it out. He's on a test, I think he's testing on a 6. fails. So instead of charging after him and letting his gore beast and maybe his chariot and all that sort of stuff have a good crack at us, we turn around and make sure we can get into these knights on the right hand side in next turn. So hopefully we can stop those guys from going into the bull tour. And as you can see, the Reavers are toast. He reforms and gets ready to pick and choose whoever he wants to slap around in the next turn. And over at the building, the Chaos Warriors do obviously a number on my guys, who lose 10 and he loses 0. We had forgotten that these guys were going to be stubborn in the building, so I rolled the dice and actually got a double 1. So before we even knew about it, these guys were sticking around, which is great stuff. So high off turn 4. These turns can't go quick enough. So obviously you want to get some more combat going on here, so I said why not. I've got a big unit of Sword Masters, strength 5. If anyone's going to do something, these guys are, so let's charge them in. Charge them straight into those guys. Hopefully we can do some damage. In the meantime, I moved my archer, not my archer, my BSB, my mage's unit up and turn them a little bit, just so we can get them out of combat in case anybody else charges. And there's nobody else anywhere near them, so we should be okay. And then the Phoenix Guard, they do the same thing over here. They charge in and get into the side of the knights. Again, we well, actually, I didn't intend to go for a miscast, but the old dice were flying all over the place. So miscast, fiery convocation on these guys. Little did I realise that it's going to do absolutely feck all to these guys, because they're toughness 4, and they're 3+ armour, and they're wards. And good luck, there's nothing that's going to happen to these guys. As I can see here, because only 3 are dead. The plus point is that fiery convocation is off here, 19+, and it's going to be tough to dispel. But as I pointed out to Ross, to be honest, there's not much point in you bothering, because they're not going to be dead over 2 turns. So you might as well just let it go and rip the crap out of the rest of my army, you know. So Mage's miscast, he rolls an 11 and loses one level, which means I lose fiery convocation, so I can't cast it again, and I probably wouldn't because it's a lot of crap against Chaos Warriors anyway, so never mind. Phoenix Guard do a lovely job over here to kill 3 knights, and we actually just let this guy go. He's rallying on a double 1, so this picture doesn't show, but we turn to face another one of his units. Okay, so the big combat over here, and we completely forgot that he had to declare a challenge with one of his guys. So what I said he should probably do is use the make away rule with his BSB and bring him over to my Lore Master and chop his head off. And that's exactly what he did. So the Lore Master is now dead. I've lost 5 other guys, and we actually got 3 in return, which is pretty good. 3 in return isn't too bad, but we're still looking down the barrel of a massive tough BSB. It's very, very hard to kill. So not much here for the Warriors, except that the Chaos Warriors are going to recharge the building and get rid of my other 5 guys, and nothing else on this side of the table. A Gore Beast Chariot charges over to my Phoenix Guard. There's not much point in us running away. We got to take some hits and see what we can do against this guy. An Infernal Gateway goes off. Oh, that's bad. That's brilliant. So yeah, he rolls. I think he rolls strength 8, and he rolls 10 hits, and I had to allocate hits to everybody, and I ended up getting a wound off my guy. So BSB is gone, the unit is dead, and my mage is there left with 2 wounds. So things aren't looking too hot over this side. Although Fiery Convocation does go off again, and this time we get rid of 5 guys, which is pretty good considering. Yeah, you never know. This Fiery Convocation might actually be worth it. But the Hell Cannon strikes again and puts a big, massive hole in my archers. Goes straight into the middle, deviates 2, I think it was 2. Yeah, something like that. And it's after taking out half the unit, so, well, it doesn't matter. They were going to be toast anyway, but still, nice shot. And this crappy slide, this awful picture, sorry guys, but this shows that my guys are dead and he now has the building. And back to the main combat, and we get rid of the final Chaos Warrior, which is great stuff out of us. I'm pretty proud of my guys. Unfortunately, the Battle Standard Bearer is still chopping away, and he gets rid of 4 more of my men. This is going to be horrible. And the Gore Beast isn't much better. Steams in, gets 7 impact hits, rolls 7 wounds, and we fail we failed 5 ward saves, which is pretty high actually, and that's pretty much it. The Phoenix Guard aren't going to be doing too much now. So we move on to High Elf turn 5, and all I really wanted to do was get my mage out of the way, and maybe in a position where he can cast some spells on somebody. So I moved him up. The archers also move up to see if they can get some shots on maybe a skull crusher or something like that. At least we're kind of out of the way of the follow through, just in case this guy chops up the rest of my guys and he runs through. We'll see about that. Magic was a bit of a bust, but things are looking good for the Phoenix Guard. They lost a few guys, but they chopped up the old Gorbeast chariot, and we overran to see if we can get past that Skull Crusher, and we did. It's great stuff out of this. These Phoenix Guard are great. So Warriors of Chaos turn 5, and the Hell Cannon gets pretty pissed off when it sees that wizard running up towards him, and he fails to sustain, and only for rolling quite low. He had a chance. If he had rolled a 16, he could have gotten into combat with me. And that would have been pretty funny, watching the Hell Cannon steam over and eat my mage, because he would have eaten him big time. So this is actually the final slide, because we have 1 or 2 others that are kind of blurry. It was getting late, and this essentially is all the combat in the Chaos Warriors turn 5 anyway. So what happens is mage charges over my mage, because he is a Chaos Mage and he's a lot tougher than a fucking Elf Mage. Plus he's on a Flaming Beast, so good chance he's going to kill me. What else have we got here? On the left hand side, the Warriors move out of the building just to get out of the building. The Skull Crusher tried to charge on my guys and he failed. And in combat, the BSB kicks my unit around again. They fail their stubborn test. BSB is gone. They run off and he mills them down. He ends up just behind my archers, and the 2 mages throw their handbags at each other and do no wounds to each other whatsoever. So that is the end of the game. So, end of the game. High Elves hung up their white flag because we hadn't really got a hope after that. And to be honest, it was 12:30 at night. It was going to be 1:30 when I got home, so I said I had enough of this shit. The game itself was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun introducing a new player into Warhammer, showing them what they can do, where they can move, spells, do this, do that. It is a lot of fun watching someone have such a fun game as well, because Ross had a great time playing with the Chaos Warriors, and they're an easy army to use and a fun army to use when you use them in a certain way. I like the way that he likes to use the Warriors, because I think Warriors are kind of core to the game. I know everyone wants to do chariots, everybody wants to fucking forget about the Warriors, but I think they really have a place because they're Chaos Warriors, and I mean that's what Chaos is all about, a lot of Warriors chopping people up. What can I say about the game myself? I threw away the Frost Phoenix mistake, although I rolled a double 1, so what can you do? Aurelian Reavers, I'm still afraid to lose them, and you know what, they are just chaff, so I should be just using them as expendable maneuvers and getting people out of the way. We didn't have much to deal with his knights, but the Seer and Doom always helped, and what can I say? It was a fun game. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and thanks again for getting me up to 100 subscribers. It's amazing. Hopefully the rest of the battle reports that I do ongoing are going to be just as good and be as popular as everyone thinks they are. So thanks very much.